My Own Garms.
What's happening, people? I am Thomas Griffin, this is My Own Garms, and this week we're back up in native places in Manchester, where we've got the pleasure of Charlie Ballett from Royal Ragz. Charlie is a seller of impeccably curated vintage clothing. He's a stylist, model and a proper clothing tastemaker. I recorded with him a few months back at the Pop Down pop-up event in Manchester, but thought I'd get him on My Own Garms for a more relaxed chat without all the hecklers. If you like the app today, then get subscribing. We've got loads more quality guests lined up for you. Go and follow us on the socials for bonus clips, BTS, pics, future guest announcements and all that good stuff. Massive thanks to everyone who's shared and supported so far, and if you've got a business venture that needs some advertising, hit us up, let's work something out. Right, let's crack on. This is My Own Garms with Charlie Ballett. So Charlie, welcome to My Own Garms. Thanks for doing it, man.
Thank you for having me. Nice to see you again.
Yeah, well, likewise, man. How are you doing today?
I'm not too bad. I'm slightly tired just from not having a day off for multiple weeks, but aside from that, the show must go on.
Considering you've had a mad weekend in London, you're looking box fresh this morning.
I might look it, but I don't feel it. But no, I'm okay. I'm not too bad. I'm more just like lagging, and I know that there's just a lot that needs to be done, and I feel like that's more just weighing on me right now.
Yeah.
But then once stuff's out of the way, it'll be fine.
Oh, man, when the sun's out, it's
a good day. As soon as I opened my curtains and I saw the sun, I was like, okay, at least it's not raining like typical Manchester. Right.
My first question for you is Prince Charles, your real life namesake. That's for anyone that doesn't know. Charlie's Instagram handle is Prince Charlzz with Z's in it. Mm-hmm. Prince Charles, he's king now, isn't he?
He is the king, and so many people have told me to change it to King Charles. But Prince Charles is a thing now.
For real? So he'll always be the real Prince Charles.
I can't really change it anymore. I don't want to be King Charles anyway.
Yeah, it's not got the same.
It was never really royal family related. It was more Royal Ragz. Prince Charles just made sense.
My question to you is, do you think King Charles is an actual lizard?
Like, he could be. I'm not going to be one of those people that is going to be like a mad conspiracy theorist and say that he definitely is, but I don't think anything's impossible these days.
He's not definitely not, is he?
Well, they're all weird, aren't they?
I've seen his eyes flickering.
None of them are normal. So I wouldn't be surprised if he was, but could just be a normal person that just isn't quite right, like all of us. But at the same time, he could be a lizard, but he could be anything. He could be an alien.
Great answer, man.
Yeah.
Have you seen his fingers recently?
I have. I only learnt about the whole finger thing when the Queen passed away, which is kind of a weird thing to associate with the Queen's death, is Prince Charles's fingers, well, King Charles.
It's so nuts when you...
But like, they are crazy, mate.
Fucking wild, man.
You're never getting a ring off one of them.
Indeed. I think the ring that's on there must have been on for decades, man. Cause it's
probably why they're so big. The circulation's done in.
Yeah. The big porky, salty looking things, aren't they?
Yeah, they're like extra thick Richmond sausage.
Indeed. Same colour, same consistency, same salt content, I'd imagine.
Yeah, they'd probably taste the same as well.
Tell us a bit about what you do. Tell us about Royal Ragz. The name is a proper juxtaposition in it. You've got the royal kind of high end and the rags, the kind of like vintage side of it. And I feel that's what you do, bringing the kind of exclusive names of Prada to a kind of an attainable for kids and for young people to wear.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that because I've actually always hated the name.
Have you?
Yeah, always.
I've not been able to change it because it's so established.
Exactly that, yeah. But I guess how you summarise it then, I've never thought about that in my head in terms of like the royal being like the high end and the rags just being kind of more like the, as you would say, I don't know, just sportswear bits, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've always hated it, but I started it when I was really young and I was doing up to no good, and I just needed something that kind of like flowed, and Royal Ragz flowed. No one had it, so I took it. But I kind of wish it was just one word and simple and more professional, as opposed to like something that has clothes related in it. So people would know what it is. So like more of like a brand name, do you know what I mean? How you could have like, or like a store name, so like for example like Bankrupt in London, or like Files, like that vintage store. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just like a word, but it's like everyone knows to associate it to them.
I think there's some beauty in something you named as a kid before you knew any better, and it's kind of grown with you though. You kind of have to learn to love it.
Yeah. There's a second venture that I've started anyway outside of Royal Ragz that's going to be its own entity that is just one word and a brand in itself. But I can't really speak about that right now. There'll be more to come of that come July, August. Sort of
Always
time.
for the gatekeeping, man. I love it.
No, well, I can't. Well, it's all well. You may see little dribs and drabs on my Instagram story if you look closely sometimes.
All right, I'll keep.
But there's very, very interesting stuff that's going to happen.
Exciting,
it's going to be
man.
fun. Yeah, I'm excited for it.
We'll come on to that future element of it in a little bit. But for those people that don't know Royal Ragz, what is it that you do?
Royal Ragz is something that I started 8 years ago. I've worked many jobs: McDonald's, fruit farms, plastering, worked in pensions, call centres, done all sorts of rubbish. But I seem to get fired from every job. I wonder why. I don't know, I just don't like being told what to do by other people, I guess. So always like clothes. Depopper just started making money on there, just some charity shopping, quit my job, was just charity shopping in Derby every day. And it eventually was able to make me afford to pay rent on a house, and then kind of took it a little bit more seriously. And then it kind of went from there, really. And as it grew, I was like, okay, this isn't slowing down. This is actually like a thing now. It's less of a hobby and more of a job. I feel like it's been going for 8 years, but I've only seen it as a job within like the last year or two, I think.
Is it only in the last year or two that it's been able to kind of sustain you a little bit more? Was it always?
Nah, it's always sustained me. If anything, it's sustaining me less now because life's way more expensive and we're in like a crisis in every way, shape or form financially as a country. But that's why all of the freelance, if I didn't have the freelance stuff, I'd be pretty screwed, I reckon. But Royal Ragz is still going strong and people are still buying it, but everything's got to be reinvested now.
How's it changed over the 8 years that you've been doing it? Like my kind of read of it is that you were kind of buying and selling anything that you could make money out of initially, and now it's a little bit more thoughtful, a little bit more you're thinking what. I remember hearing you say that I kind of love every piece of clothing that I buy and sell, like it's got a bit of you in it. Is that something you've worked towards, or was it always like?
Well, the thing I like around the whole thing is sourcing, and at the start you don't know where it all comes with time and experience and meeting people and speaking to the right people. But at the start it was whatever I could find in a charity shop and I could make a raise off, whether it be a Burberry shirt, a Nike sweatshirt, a Lacoste jumper, anything that I can make money off, I'd sell, because that's how you've got to start. And then you find wholesalers and you can kind of be fussier, but you still have to buy some stuff you don't want to buy. But then I eventually found ways and made links and did X, Y and Z that could, everything I buy now, none of it comes from a wholesaler. Everything is like individually bought from like certain places and sent to people in like different countries here and there, and then will get sent to me like when there's accumulations of it all. But I've just finally got to the stage where I can afford to do that and I know how to do that. But every bit that I source is something that I'm excited for it to arrive, as opposed to just being like, oh, I've got like steamed 10 Nike sweatshirts to put them on the website. That's boring. Yeah. But now I've reached the fun bit that I've always wanted to be at, where I can make Royal Ragz exactly how I want it, as opposed to just having to do what not everyone, most people do in like the reselling game and just buy whatever's popular at the time. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Exciting. And it's kind of like, I just got lucky that the stuff that I like is somewhat popular, I guess.
You're making it popular, man.
I don't like...
I think you do, dog, come on. Let me tell you, you do. I said in the intro that you're a tastemaker, and you definitely...
I don't know, I feel like I've influenced some things.
Yeah.
But I don't ever want to come across as big-headed or a knobhead, so I don't like to be like, yeah, I've done this, I've done that. I know that I did a lot for Arc'teryx because no other store was selling the amounts of it that I was before anyone else or anyone was even selling it. Yeah. But it's just because I liked it in the first place and I wore it, and then realised people started to sell it and I could get jacket. Nobody else was on it, and you could go on British eBay now, they're all 200, 300, 400, 500 quid, whatever. Go on there 4 or 5 years ago when I first started selling them, they were 40 quid. Do you know what I mean? And you were buying them off just dads, and they'd been on there for days. No one's looking for it. You could just get as many as you wanted. No. So I feel like I kind of brought that in, but I wasn't the one who solely did that. But I got influenced by other people. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So it wasn't me that did that. I got influenced by like all the writers that were painting in it. And then obviously that came from all the English people that were doing it, were copying the people in New York that were doing it. And then I started selling it, and then everyone else started selling it. And then I bet if we walked out of here and took 100 metres down there, we'd walk past them all wearing one.
Probably multiple people.
Exactly.
Wearing one. They're everywhere in Manchester at the moment.
Yeah, everywhere, man. Everyone's got one.
Rep your ends.
So you're from down in the southwest, right?
Yeah.
Bristol, ish?
I say Bristol because it's the closest city to where I live, and it's not like I'm from like a middle of nowhere, a hamlet. It's not even a village. It's like 8 houses and the sticks surrounded by fields.
When you come from the middle of nowhere, you always end up adopting a city that's kind of near to you, just because you get sick of explaining.
And like as soon as I was old enough to be able to hop on a train on my own, we would always go to Bristol and just skate for the day and then come back. And then when we were like 18, we'd go there and we'd go to clubs. And then we, as soon as I was old enough, like I lived there for ages anyway.
Yeah.
But I did very much so grow up in the arse end of nowhere with no buses, street lights, pubs, shops, anything.
So I guess we can talk about both of these places then, like the rural and the urban of Bristol. So let's start with the kind of the hamlet. What kind of...
The Shire.
Yeah, the Shire. What's it called specifically?
Western Bamfield.
Western Bamfield, all right. So what kind of clothes were you seeing people wearing in... Is it farming community, right?
Farming community for sure. My family were the only family there that we were like the only younger generation in the whole little area that we lived in.
What were the adults wearing? What?
Wellies and dickies, dungarees covered in cow poo.
Yeah.
Basically, that was the attire, or like a Berghaus jacket and some waterproof trousers and some wellies, and everyone was just walking their dogs, basically.
Okay.
It was just old people.
Yeah.
Wear whatever, nobody cares. When I go back now and I look like this, like, do you know what I mean? When I go tatted and I'm all like this, all the same people live there, but they're just like, who the bloody hell is this guy now? Do you know what I mean?
Like, literally asking you, like...
Yeah, I've had a few people double take me and they'd be like, Charlie, and I'd be like, yeah, and they'd be like, Christ, you've changed, haven't you? I'm like, yeah, I'm still the same person. I've just got a lot of just different things on my body, I guess.
It must be so jarring for those people. I know that we've got the internet, you can telly and shit, you can see people on them, but like, when you see someone that's come from there, undergo a swan-like transformation into what you are now, it must be pretty like...
Yeah, sometimes I do catch myself in the mirror and think, have I ruined my life? Genuinely, but nah, I just got to roll with it. I can't even say that. I got a new toe yesterday, so I just can't even complain. It is what it is. I like it anyway. I'm happy with it.
Yeah, man. All
right,
right,
I just wonder what I'm going to look like in about 40 years' time, is what I'm thinking.
When you see old people with tattoos, you think, fucking hell, you look
kind of
like a boss,
sick,
man.
yeah.
Very sick. Storied. Like, you're living a life of stories. So that's the rural side of it. Let's go to Bristol, which I guess you were exploring maybe from 11, 12 kind of age. What were you seeing people wearing there? Was it a bit of a culture shock to you when you first went to the city?
Bristol is, I'm biased because I'm from there, but the best city. And no one judges anyone. You can wear what you want. And it's mainly full of skaters and hippies, so there's a lot of harem pants, there's a lot of people getting around in crochet stuff, but then everyone's wearing like Converse and polar trousers, big boy jeans and some skate hoodies and beanies. Everyone's either looking like a skater or... In the recent years it's changed, and obviously TikTok's influenced a lot of people, and you're seeing a load of Arc'teryx jackets and the VC jeans coming from like the student side of it. But Bristol as a whole, it's very, I don't know, like Adsum style, kind of simple, like kind of young professional, just clean, not too loud. It's either like that or the complete opposite, and someone's wearing like the craziest pattern tie-dye t-shirt with like harem pants with elephants all over them, do you know what I mean? And they've got dreadlocks.
So I've been a couple of times, maybe 3 times in my life, and that is something that's always stood out to me, the kind of non-judgmental side.
You can
like
do whatever
people
you want.
Existing next to each other, not rubbing up against each other. Like in a lot of northern cities, especially a couple of decades ago, maybe when things were more stratified, there was a bit of friction between the different people, and I didn't get that.
Well, that's one thing that I've noticed about Manchester. I'm not about to start like slewing Manchester or putting it down in any shape or form. But in Bristol, doesn't matter who you are, everyone's mates. It's like I could be sat at the harbour with a fashion related friend, and then like the skaters come over, but then one of our like hippie pals comes over, but like, and that's normal, and everyone's friends and no one cares. Like I'm the odd one out in Bristol because I'm the only one that really cares about clothes and does what I do, and like, but that's what I like about it, because I don't have to talk about my job outside. I can do fun stuff with my friends. But in Manchester it's very work, everyone wants to look a certain way, and I can imagine if like one of my white dread friends came and sat with us, everyone would be like, who is this guy? Yeah. You know what I mean? But in Bristol it's just like, yes. Like, or they'd ask for a Rizzler and then they sit with you and then you're just chilling with them and then you just get to know him. It's a very, very nice place to be.
I know you can get creativity out of hardship and things like that. But when you have got a supportive, like loving community, it can create a lot of beautiful stuff.
It can be a very self-destructive place because it is a city that is like renowned for students and partying and whatever. But I feel like I didn't get too caught up in that because I did it when I was younger anyway. And when I like lived there when I was older, I would just enjoyed life being there. Still had fun, but you learn how to, you know, when too much is too much.
Yeah.
So you can just chill it a little bit. So it's nicer, but you can either like, it can either go one way or the other with Bristol. You can lose your head there, or you can
fall into a K-hole.
Yeah, you can fall into a K-hole that you never come out of, or you can land on your feet and get a banging opportunity.
Let's talk about your most recent moves. You've been up in Manchester for what, like
just over a year.
A year now.
Yeah, just over.
It's a sick city to be in. Like, it was always my adopted home city when I was young. Like, I'm from about 40 minutes away from here. The music's always been banging, the clothes have been banging. Was it clothing specifically that attracted you to move up here?
No, it wasn't anything to do with clothing at all, to be honest. It was more so I had a supplier here and I was coming up here all the time, came up here one time, and the shipment got delayed by like 3 days, but it was like a 5-hour train, and I was like, I can't be bothered to go back and then have to come back again in 3 days' time. So I was like, I'm just going to wander around and just kind of figure it out, because every move that I make, I'd never really know what I'm going to do. I just kind of just wing it, and that was one of them. Bumped into Emma, who did Pop Down outside a pub. Shout out Emma big time. And then I went and chilled with her and all of her friends, and then we all became friends. And this was like during this. That day was the day lockdown finished and pubs reopened for the first time.
Man. Fucking felt so good, didn't it?
It was an amazing day, and I just met all of those guys outside the Alvarium, because I just come out of bags of flavour. Got shouted over by Saskia, my friend, and I went over and got drunk with them. Ended up just partying with them for like 3 days. And then I just kept coming back like once a fortnight and just spending a weekend here, and just kind of liked it. And I'd wanted to get out of Bristol because I've been there again for like 6 years, and I feel like I'd hit a ceiling there. And I kind of wanted to do like Bristol, Manchester, then London. Yeah, so then I just moved here on like a spontaneous one. Just went to Spain and got red wine drunk, and then texted my landlord saying I was moving out of Bristol in 3 weeks, and then just kind of that sealed the deal. So I got back to England, like, right, let's sort stuff out, and let's sort out a move to Manchester.
I love it, man. Spontaneity seems to be something that suits you well, I think. And
I'm going to get out of here very soon though, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the plan. But this is a very recent well, no, I've been planning to move to London in June for the last, I don't know, 6 months anyway.
Yeah.
But I just don't know if it's somewhere that's particularly good for me. Work-wise, yeah. Head-wise, not sure. Because it can turn people into certain people.
It's a dilemma, man.
It's quite a lonely city to be in.
Yeah, I get down there a lot for work, and I do feel the pressures. But
I'm there every weekend, man, and I'm tired. Like, look at like
fucking sucks the money out of you.
Do you know what I mean? Man. I go there with money, and I'm making money when I'm there, and I come back in debt.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I'm like, how have I done this?
It's nuts.
Yeah, it is nuts, but I might just move back to Bristol, to be honest with you. Yeah. It is my happy place, man. I'll go there now and I'll get a serotonin boost as soon as I walk out of the Temple Mews station. Like, I love it.
Lovely.
Love it.
Ace in the summer as well.
But then it's just trying to figure out what I can do there, because there isn't an awful lot to do there in terms of like job prospects. I could open a shop at some point, I don't know. It's just a lot I need to figure out, basically. But Manchester is going to come to an end within the next couple of months, I think.
Always moving like a shark, aren't you?
Yeah, man, I'll just get itchy feet. I can't stay in one place for too long.
So let's talk about that. So I know you've been about a bit, you're a pretty well-travelled guy in terms of cities in the UK and countries around the world. I know you've been on a lot of buying missions to travel to interesting places. Where have you been that you've found particularly inspiring for Garms?
Do you know what? I've never been really to countries to like buy stuff aside one. And that was pre-lockdown. I was going to South Korea.
I think we talked about that before.
Yeah, I went like 4 times. No one knew about South Korea then, apart from me and maybe 2 other people. And one of them's like Bobby that does bags of flavour, if you know it. Shout out Bobby.
Yeah.
But Bobby's been going there for like 20 years. He's been going for ages.
But in terms of places that you travel for pleasure, then where have you been and thought, you know, people dress cool here, man, or this is like something I've never seen before anywhere else?
No, the best dress sense is probably Korea as well.
Yeah.
People in Europe dress rubbish. Sorry, everyone in Europe. You just wear skinny jeans and denim jackets and shit. It's so boring. But the weird thing is, it's like I sell so much stuff to people in like the Netherlands and places like that, and Sweden and whatever, and I go to these countries and I don't see anyone like dressing like how people can wear what they want. I don't care. You feel comfortable in whatever you want to wear.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not going to judge anyone, but I just expected to see more of it, but I just don't really.
And what do you see in Korea that you don't see anywhere else? Is it creativity? Is it the shapes of the clothes?
In my opinion, we get fashion trends off of Korean and Japanese people, and like we get it kind of at the same time or just before like Americans do. They're way ahead of it. Like, I'll go there and I'll see people walking around and stuff, and I'll be like, that looks sick, and then 6 months later people here are wearing the same thing. Like, Avery's jackets became popular for a bit, and all these like leather jackets, but watching people in Korea walk around in baggy trousers and crazy Avery's jackets since before lockdown, that was like 4 years ago.
Yeah, and just drip feeds bit by bit.
Yeah.
You'd expect the kind of time to be compressed now with, you know, because everything's instantaneous and digital, and you can get inspiration from a South Korean Instagram account or a TikTok and immediately recreate that look. You can buy baggy pants over here, you can buy Averex jackets over here.
Yeah.
But it still does seem to exist, like that. Japan and South Korea and a lot of the kind of East Asian countries just are ahead of the curve.
They're way ahead of the curve, and all cool brands are like kind of from there. If you look into it, where's Armanda from? Japan.
Yeah.
Where's Cavent from? Japan. Where's like Side Service from? Korea.
Yeah.
Where's Post Archive Faction from? Korea. All of these like brands that are doing stuff that people have not done before, and other brands are starting to now copy that, all from these countries. Like, they are way ahead of it. Like, way ahead.
I'm still laughing at your take on Europe, man. Skinny jeans and leather jackets.
Everyone does dress like poo, man. I'm not gonna lie. I'm sorry if I offend any European people.
Fuck 'em.
I'm sure there are some of you that dress sick, but
Team Brexit. Yeah.
Team Brexit, man. Nah, we actually flopped that so hard. It's made my life way harder. Sending stuff to
Import fees.
Yeah.
So we touched on this briefly in the little pre-podcast bit, but talk to me about skating and the impact that had on you and your clothing taste.
Skating, I don't know where to start with it, really. I started when I was like 8, I guess, I think. I just used to ride around on my older brother's board, broke it. My mum got me on for Christmas, and then I would just, every day when I got back from school, I'd skate it, and then on the weekends I'd like get dropped off at the skate park, skate it, and just carried on doing it always. It's only over the last like couple of years that I've slowed down, really, but it's just, one, my body hurts, and two, I'm super busy and I just don't have time, which is really annoying. But skating has always just been a great outlet for becoming, I feel like an introverted extrovert, but skating gave me the extrovert side. Okay. Because I was left at skate parks from like 11 years old with kids that were like 17, 18. Do you know what I mean? So I like grew up and matured. I learned a lot. I watched, I paid attention, and I always liked being out, and I liked being around people, and it gave me that. But in terms of fashion, I don't know, because
it's just like the Korean example again, like 4 or 5 years ahead of when everyone else does it. Skaters are doing it.
Yeah, but like when I was skating when I was like 10, we were wearing like the skinniest jeans, man. We were like nail varnish on, we had crazy hair. We all dressed like we just only listened to Blink 182.
But that's creative for kids to be into, isn't it? Like,
I loved
expressing
it.
yourself slightly outside of the norms of fashion. It's a really good breeding ground for creativity later in your life, I think.
I feel like I'm the odd one out when I go skating now, because I've got clothes at home that is like this, but I wouldn't skate in this. I have clothes that I would skate in instead. Right. So I've got like, there's 2 different variations, but it's more so I just don't want to fuck up nice stuff that I've paid a lot of money for. But I'm like the odd one out that goes skating, because I'm not like, I just do clothes, don't I? Yeah. And most skaters don't give a shit.
You've got skills, man.
Yeah, I know, but I'm like well OCD about clothes, and even if I'm skating and they're a pair of trousers I don't care about, I'm always like, I've ripped them, or I've done whatever. When other skaters like, right, you can see the whole arse through the back because they rip their trousers to shreds. Do you know what I mean?
So you've got skate outfits, is it pure like spandex bodysuit so you don't rip any?
Not to that extent, but it's just more so just like pairs of jeans that I was just like, I've got a pair that I'll skate in, and then I've got a pair that I won't skate in.
So obviously that's a big part of the kind of culture that birthed you. A lot of the brands that you were into then were skate brands. Are there any other cultures and subcultures that you like to dig into for inspo? I mean, a lot of the stuff that you do is outdoor influenced at the moment. You talked about graffiti writers being a kind of big influence. Are they two that you find inspiring?
I would say graffiti, like writers, like right now, I'd say just Manchester's got a crazy scene for it. Bristol is a city that's covered in artwork, I'd say.
Yeah.
Like, there's graffiti everywhere and it's sick. And like I've always taken photos. Photography and graffiti and music is what inspires me, and like the subcultures outside of it, really. But it's all like Bristol based, I would say, because graffiti had always been a big thing there. Photography and people like Ryan McGinley are just super interesting, and I've just always loved to delve into that, and I like taking photos. As you know, it's like a little side thing that was just a hobby that kind of turned into a hobby job.
Yeah.
Sometimes, because I've been paid for it to do whatever, but it's nothing I ever thought I would end up doing, but people liked it, so it happened. And then music, I don't know where to start on that, because my music taste is so varied, but Bristol's a big old 140 dubstep, drum and bass jungle sort of city.
Yeah, man, that was my jam in the early 2000s.
I listen to more chilled out stuff now, but I could happily listen to that all day long still.
For real.
I love it. It will always be there, like just spinning records and just hearing what your friends have.
Yeah, and rave culture is obviously like, you know, the kind of jacket scene of Manchester is heavily rave inspired, like out of practicality, if nothing else.
Well, that's kind of how Wavy Garms started.
Yeah.
It was off the back end of graffiti writing, boosting from shops, and then raves. And people at raves wearing like Moschino or like crazy old Versace sunglasses, loads of sovereign rings, stuff like that. All like two pieces, crazy old Italian wear. That was like a big inspo for everyone. That's when I first realised you could make money off clothes. When I was 16 and I sold something on there for like £40, just like a stussy hoodie that I paid like 15 quid for. And I was like, well, I can make, someone will just send me 40 quid for just putting a photo online. And that's where it all began, really. So shout out Andreas and Rhiannon for Wavy Garms for doing that.
Big up them guys.
Big up them guys, yeah.
The last question on this little section is about your farming background. I know you talked about what people wore and how it was pure function, but a lot of what you sell is very functional gear. You know, if it rains, what you sell keeps you dry. Do you think that's come directly from, well, not directly, but do you think that's come from the farming like aspect, that you need to rely on stuff? And my other question is, do you have a pair of wellies?
I've got a shed full of wellies. Like, when it is funny, because whenever anyone comes over, like a guest or whatever, and we go out on a dog walk, and it's like, don't worry, there's a pair of wellies that will fit you in there, and then you've got to dig through until you find like a size 8 or whatever, but there's wellies on wellies on wellies. I like, if Royal Ragz ever flops, I'll start a welly warehouse, wholesale or something.
See, this is one thing that I don't think has made the crossover. Wellies, whilst they're literally the most functional shoe you can wear, like, you can get decent,
extremely uncomfortable though,
neoprene lined ones keep you warm.
Yeah.
You can get nice wellies, but they look so fucking shit, man.
They do look shit, and they're so clunky.
It's steezless, man. And the connotations of them as well, you look like you're going on a fox hunt, or you're going to take milk out of school children's hands. It's total Tory gear.
It is, and oh God, I hope I don't come across like that, because fuck those guys. Big time. Put that in the podcast, don't cut that out. Or maybe bleep the swear word if you have to, but...
No.
Fuck them. Basically, in terms of the outdoor functional gear side of it though, I wouldn't say so.
No.
But like, it's been nice though, because I've got a farmer family and I sell these jackets now, and like I've given them all some to wear. Do you know what I mean? So they've got like good jackets to wear.
Your mum all dripped out.
Yeah, give her an Arky jacket, give her something nice, like my little sister and whatnot.
Can't wait to see the pics on the feed, man.
Yeah, I don't know why I haven't taken
Christmas photo.
But I remember my little sister, I gave her one for her birthday last year, like this white one that was really sick. And she sent me like a photo of her sideways. She does not do clothes.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? She's like an academic. She doesn't care about any of this. And she sent me a photo of her sideways, like how I'd wear the hood, like all cinched up and stuff. And she was like, I look like you today. And I was like, this is so funny. I love that side of it, yeah. But no, it correlates, the whole what I sell and where I've come from. But there's no actual like, I don't know the word for it. There's no actual connection.
Yeah, there's no like lineage straight from one to the other.
I didn't think, oh, I'm going to do this because of this.
Yeah.
I just did it because I liked it.
Yeah.
But then I get how it works like that though.
Yeah, man.
That's not me.
I watched a brilliant little video that Proper Magazine made recently. I think was Jacob involved with that. A little kind of like where you're talking about mental health on it.
Oh no, that was me and my friend Lucian from Bristol. He's
a
real young kid that's sick at filming and films loads of skate stuff. And I've had a few jobs recently, like one with Edwin and then one with like Unknown UK, like that brand, and they needed video work done for it.
Yeah.
And I wanted Lucian to brush, because he's really good at what he does.
Yeah, it's
but he's
class.
just known for skate stuff, and the pay isn't that good. But when you work in the fashion industry, you can make a video, and he could get paid for like 3 skate jobs worth of jobs for like one fashion video.
Yeah.
So I brought him in on those, and then he was like, "Oh, let's do like a little mini doc," and it was supposed to be on Royal Ragz, but then we kind of just spoke more on like mental health.
I heard in that video you got asked what were you like as a teenager. Do you remember? And you say, "I was a little nerd, man." I fucking love that.
Did you? Do you know what? That's the one part of the video that I was like, maybe we should take that bit out.
Why? Because you don't mean it.
No, I wasn't. No, but the thing is, like, I wasn't particularly like a nerd, but I was just like, ooh, I looked like one, I guess.
Okay.
Because I always had glasses, but like, I'm not the brightest tool in the shed. Hence why I didn't go to uni and started working for myself.
Okay.
But I just looked like a little nerd. At
All right.
school.
So this is
like
my question.
tied on up glasses,
Is
like
it?
really bad trim. Do you know what I mean? Like I just looked dreadful.
So my question was was there a part of your kid kind of fashion history that you look back on and you think that was a bit of a clanger, but I guess this is what we're talking about.
The vast majority of it, I would say. I've only, loads of it. God. Because I've always had quite big feet, and back then I was a little emo and I'd wear like the skinniest black jeans, but I'd wear like bright red Converse, and imagine being like 15 of size like 10 feet.
Yeah.
And you're wearing jeans that are like super duper duper
skin
slim.
tight, literally.
Yeah, that was a really embarrassing time in my life. But I thought I looked really cool.
I bet you did back then. Like people. Yeah.
Maybe I did, but I don't know. Right now, I wouldn't. If I walked past someone like that, I'd be like, "Oh, that's cute," because that used to be me. But at the same time, I'm like, I'm so glad I don't look like that anymore.
Yeah.
But everything changes, man. Like, I don't know.
It's great. It's great to admit it, man. Because we were recording a podcast for another brand, and a lot of the people were saying that they didn't really have any of these fashion faux pas in the history. I was like, well, you weren't trying hard enough, then, man. If you've not made mistakes, if you can't admit that you look like shit a few times.
I've looked like shit more than a few times. I like, even when I step out the house sometimes now, I'm like, I don't even know if this works, but I just can't be arsed anymore.
Yeah.
Just like, I like my clothes and I'm happy wearing them. And if other people walk past me and they think, then I'm like, what's that to me? To them, that's a passing thought. To me, I'm not even going to think about it in 0.1 of a second.
On that kind of subject, how important is experimentation to you? Because when I look at you, you're obviously not a conservative dresser. You kind of push things a little bit further than some people do with the tats, with the cut of your trousers, with like everything about you is kind of hyperbole, like it done to a little bit more than other people would do it. How important is experimentation to you and pushing those boundaries?
The weird thing about it, I'm not really trying to do like anything.
Okay.
I don't feel like I'm really experimenting with anything. It's just like, I've got a load of stuff. I like everything that I've got. Whatever works with whatever works with whatever.
Yeah.
And then if so, I'll wear it. And if I like it, I'll wear it. If I don't, and I'm just very particular over really small things like how tight a neckline is on a t-shirt, or like where trousers drop to and stuff. So just, I don't really experiment or try and change things. I just wear what I like and what I have, and if I see something that I like, I'll grab it, and if I don't like it when I get it, then I'll get rid of it. But there's no real experimenting, really.
Yeah.
But then I'll try something on that I wouldn't usually wear for like a shoot, for example. Like when I did the patter shoot, they put me in like quite slim tracksuits, and as you know, most of the stuff I wear is quite baggy.
Yeah.
And I was like, I might start messing around with this because I actually kind of like how it looks. But it's just something I wouldn't have normally thought of. But I wouldn't really say I experiment with anything. I like, you just know what goes together.
Yeah.
Like certain brands that don't work together. Like you wouldn't wear, I think if you were to wear a Supreme box logo and you had like a Dior monogram side bag on, they're two brands that don't work together, and it's just too loud and just kind of a bit obnoxious.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like wear layers that are kind of, I don't know, blank and stuff. Hence why the patch got sewn onto those trousers, because I didn't want like a logo.
Okay.
I just wanted like something that was a little bit just there.
Yeah. I guess the number of clothes that pass through your hands in a year is like more than pretty much 99.9% of the population. So you can experiment to a certain extent because you can magpie nick from a lot of different places. You've got more opportunity to take little bits from different places.
Yeah, I get that.
So I think that's probably whereas you don't see it as experimentation because it's just day-to-day life. I think because you're thinking about clothes so much, it kind of is ingrained. It's natural to you to experiment. I heard you speaking on the Trees and Nylon podcast maybe a year or two ago now.
It was a while ago.
Big up Trees and Nylon, by the way.
Lovely guy.
You were talking about items that keep you guessing, like jackets with hidden pockets and secrets that they kind of reveal to you as you wear them. I've seen you wearing a lot of kind of snowboard jackets with secret bits, and we were talking about that Peapod jacket before. Is that your favourite type of clothing, the stuff that you just look at and you think, oh man, that's a little secret? Is that what keeps you buzzing about?
Yeah, I love that kind of stuff. It's super impractical to wear because most of it is snowboard gear. Like the Burton Q jackets I did the shoot on with like the hidden pockets with the magnets you put under as loads of pockets. It's a snowboard jacket, so it's heavy. Like wearing that around is hard work. And then like the other one that had magnets on, the Good Enough jacket's so sick, the one that like you rip open like that and there's all the pockets. Yeah. But the magnets are so strong and they're everywhere that you lean over and they bunch over from the side and just connect. So it's like you can't wear this stuff really. Like you can for sure, but it's kind of impractical. But it is my favourite stuff because it's just like, who thought of this? And it's like, why is this not getting made anymore? Because all of these are from like the mid, early, late, thousands, 2000s. So like all of this stuff is just not really getting done anymore. Everything's just kind of changed to crazy paneling and mesh and weird cool transparent. Yeah, why did I say weird? Cooler like transparency bits and like just the shape and the cut and the fit are more minimalistic.
I've seen you doing some stuff with, is it Container recently that's got all the different meshes over meshes?
Yeah, so Containers who did that Peapod bag in that photo.
All right.
That's all.
I love that layering of mesh, and you can see the technology of the jacket from the outside, if you will, on that stuff, and I think that's dead exciting looking.
Yeah, he's a clever guy, man. But that's not even like the tip of the iceberg with the stuff that he does. That for him, that was just more of like a fun thing to make. Yeah. But I love that kind of stuff. It's excellent. So as soon as he started making them, I was like buying them off him for like cheap, and then I was just like, right, let's spend some money on some stronger material that isn't going to fray. Yeah. And make some like proper ones. So we did that and sold them, and they all went really, really well.
Sick, man. So big up that guy.
Yeah, big up Ollie, big up Container. If you don't follow him, do so.
So aside from Royal Ragz, you're involved in a lot of other aspects of the fashion industry now. We touched on before. You've done some modelling, styling, content creation, as well as paying the bills. Do you enjoy the variety that you get from doing lots of different jobs? Yeah, because I love Royal Ragz and I'll always enjoy it. But as you can imagine, after 8 years, anything you do will get monotonous. And it does sometimes get to that point. So the freelance jobs kind of break it all up a little bit. And it's all very new to me. I never considered doing any of these things until I got approached to do so. So it was nice that did happen. Because it just breaks the week up a little bit, or breaks the day up. And then it gives you something different to look forward to. Yeah, man. And then it makes me work harder with Royal Ragz because I know I've got a time frame to get this done because I need to take X amount of days off to do this freelance job. So it's kind of good. Tiring, but good. And the money's good. Yeah, yeah. I think it opens, like, in terms of your own taste, like you were talking about the Patawan, something you wouldn't normally wear when you're asked to model it or style it, and you've got to make the best out of something that you wouldn't normally do. I've done a few modelling jobs where I've worn things where like, fucking hell, that's not me, man. But once you've worn it, like, I kind of understand it a little bit more now. Like, can see where it's coming from, and that might change you going forward. So the variety might inspire you down different angles with your main jam with Royal Ragz. Yeah, it is nice, and it's nice that these brands that I've always looked up to, like I was wearing Patter at college, so it was, for them to ask me to come and do that for them, that was surreal. Really. They Amsterdam, yeah. And it was cool. That was a really fun one. There was like not really anything exchanged for it. It was more of just can you do this for us? And I was just like, yeah, of course. Mutual love kind of thing. Yeah, but there've been a lot of brands that have approached me and I just say no to, even if the money's good, just because it's like I wouldn't ever wear that brand. Yeah. And I it's kind of sell out of me to promote it if I wouldn't ever mess around with it in the first place. You got to think about the long game as well, man. Like you're still a young kid. Doing what, 26, 27 now? Yeah, 27 now. Like, you know, you got to think about what it's going to be like in 10 or 15 years as well. And if you've already shot your shot, like, yeah, there might not be anything left in 10 years. That's what I'm thinking. So, like, well, God forbid, Royal Ragz, touch wood,
Royal Ragz lasts forever.
Yeah.
But if it does ever flop, I know that through doing what I've been doing over the last few years of brands and stuff, that a good job will come at the back end of it. I know I could do something with someone that would be as sick, but then it's just working for someone again.
Yeah, man.
Being told what to do.
You'd be sacked the next day.
Yeah, but the thing is, I worked really hard at the start, but then I realised I could just make more money doing like other stuff with my time. Why am I doing it? And then you lose care for the job, and then you get fired because you end up doing nothing. But it's not like I don't know.
It kind of sounds like you need it for your head, and I do want to touch on that a little bit because I know it's something you are quite outspoken about. Headspaces and mental health, and I think anxiety in particular is something that you might struggle with yourself.
Yeah, for
is that
sure.
fair to say? How important is the community around clothes to you and what goes on in your head? Do you find it a positive effect? Is it sometimes a negative thing for you?
It's 50-50. Like Royal Ragz makes me happy when it's going well, but then because I do everything, it's like, and when I'm doing all these freelance jobs, it's hard to keep on top of customer service and orders and all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of stress that comes with it, and a lot of people you've got to explain why this hasn't happened and X, Y, and Z. And the people that are in the clone community, there's a lot of lovely people that I've met, but then there are a lot of people that are very much so in it for themselves and would easily do you over if they could. So I've just found it easier to kind of just like do my own thing and stay out of the way, I think.
Okay.
But there are good people involved. But there are a lot of people involved. I don't like the people that are in it just for the money, that just sell loads and loads and loads of like wholesale stuff to get rich.
Yeah.
Like getting rich to me is, if I ever do, would be a bonus. To be able to keep selling stuff that I like and do that as a job is what I would prefer to do.
Yeah.
I would rather be like skint and not be able to buy ciggies from the shop, but have a load of cool stock I put on the website than sell loads of stuff that I don't care about and have a nice house in the countryside.
I think for longevity, for everyone's collective mental health, like if people are in it just for the money, then that's when it becomes a bit toxic and a bit damaging.
Yeah, but it's easy to tell when someone's in it just for the money.
Yeah.
It's easy to tell before you meet them. All you got to do is look at their website.
So do you yourself have to protect you? Have you come up with coping strategies, or have you just found ploughing your own furrow and keeping in your own lane to be the best
Kind
thing
of do
for
my
you?
own thing. I take inspiration from certain friends, and I feel like everyone does that. But it's mainly I just do my own thing. There are a few people, not going to name any names because some of them are secretive, but that I like talk to and discuss, and we do little bits and bobs. But outside of them, it's very much I just do my own thing.
Yeah.
But I guess those other people involved, they kind of do like the same thing as me, or like the same thing but a different variant of it. Do you know what I mean?
And I suppose on the more positive side of it, like clothing, fashion attracts like-minded individuals, creative maybe, welcoming maybe in the main part. Have you found the people that you've met in here to be like the people that you've needed for your own mental health?
Yeah, to a certain degree, because there are like people like George, shout out Inside Tag, probably the best reselling page in the entire world in my opinion. He's a good friend of mine, and he's always like, if I've needed him, he's been there. Yeah, well, everyone's kind of there for you, but then when you're going through tough times, it's like sometimes you just don't want anyone. So it's kind of hard to think of like particular people. So I don't want to say that no one's been there for me, but I feel like I'm the one that's made it so that it's made it feel like there hasn't been as many people there for me, if that makes sense.
Pushed them away. You have kept your head down when...
Yeah, kind of push people away when they've tried to help.
Well, that's one coping strategy, man. That works for some people. Like,
yeah, it kind of does for me to an extent, and then I just let it all out on one person.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a weird one, man. It's a weird one. Your head's just a horrible place, and the older you get, the weirder it gets.
Tell me about it, man.
Yeah, for sure.
It's 37. It's still dark up there.
I can't wait.
To die.
Yeah. Oh, I'm 27 club now, anyway.
Oh, yeah, man.
We all know what that
hell.
means.
Yeah. The good and the great. Who's your favourite 27-year-old death? You've got Janis Joplin, you've got Nick Drake, you've got Kurt, you've got...
Probably Kurt. Kurt was the first person that came into my head, so I'm probably just going to roll with him.
A fashion icon as well.
Yeah, and like the first CD I ever got was when I was in like year 4, and my friend's dad used to pick us up from primary school, and he used to play that Nirvana CD with the little baby naked catching the dollar.
Never mind.
That's the one.
Yeah, man.
And one day he just gave me that CD because I'd always ask it to be put on, and that was like the only CD I had for like 2 years. So probably Kurt Cobain, because that's what kind of started it all.
Yeah, total icon, man. The songs still stand up today.
It's amazing.
You got 1993 on your knuckles there, is it? Oh, 33 is it?
No, I've got 1962 and 1933.
Okay, so this is no relevance to that at all. But he died in 1994, which is what? Is that the?
That's 2 years before I was born.
Yeah, nuts. That's fucking mad, isn't it? And he's still culturally relevant to people today.
Yeah, I don't think that legacy will go anytime soon.
No.
He did the whole Nirvana thing in general did a lot for music, I feel.
For real. Changed it forever.
Top 3 selected.
Charlie, I want from you a top 3 list of non-traditional retailers. So people like yourself who sell vintage secondhand. It might be direct customer brands that have done it kind of ground up, or digital first brands. Just stuff you can't buy in a normal shop, basically. So
cool.
Who's doing
Easy.
it for you?
This is so easy. I know this straight away. In my line of work, inside tag, as I already said, George, 100%, he's the best. Independent artist Connor, the guy that airbrushed his sweatshirt. Don't know if you can see it on camera, but
Sick.
Whole lot of that.
Nice.
His Instagram's like shit for brains, shit with a 5.
Okay.
He is incredible at what he does, and more people need to know about him because his stuff is just so good.
Get on that.
But I would say I would go third brand. I would go Container. Ollie is one of the cleverest guys, and he's going to come out of the uni course that he's doing with an insane internship somewhere. I know he is. He's going to be doing big bits.
Sick, man. Want to watch. What's that on Instagram?
Container. There's a dot in there somewhere.
We'll flash it up on the bottom.
Yeah.
What people see on the Royal Ragz site is a beautifully put together collection of well chosen gear. Tell us a little bit about some of the hard work that people don't see on there that's dead important to what you do.
What, all the Royal Ragz stuff?
Yeah. What's the day-to-day grind look like?
I reckon people think that I've got like a ton of people working for me and I've got this massive office. Nah, mate. It's just me, and my office is tiny. And it's just me in there every day, and it consists of steaming, taking photos, editing, wrapping parcels, sitting on my beanbag, replying to emails, looking for stock, paying stuff off all day, every day, which is the most monotonous thing in the entire world.
I've never steamed a garment and not burnt my fingers at any point.
I burnt myself quite bad off the back end of it, but like the steamers are just rubbish in general. And I'm just like, I'm cheap, so I'm an idiot, and I'll spend money on nice little bits of jewellery and whatever, but I won't invest in £100 steamer that will last forever. I'll buy this little £30 hand
off Amazon, yeah.
Yeah, they just die like a month in. But no, the day-to-day life is literally like everything that you would think to go into running a business, that is what I'm doing every day. So like after this podcast, I'm going to walk to the office and I'm going to do exactly what I've just told you.
I won't keep you too long, man.
No, it's fine, don't worry.
Next hype.
I know you sell the clothes that you love.
Mm-hmm.
Summer's on its way. You're kind of jacket first. A lot of kind of, I'd associate you more with the in-between months and the wintry months. But what have you and Royal Ragz got in store for the warmer months? Have you got anything that's going up there soon for summer?
I'm a take every day as it comes kind of guy, man.
Okay.
I've got no plan. Not really, I don't know. I'll just guess, rather than searching for jackets, it would just be like loads more bags and accessories and t-shirts and like just little cool bits and bobs, like cool gilets and whatnot. But I feel like over the summer I'm starting my own little thing, which I said I couldn't really speak about, but I will. But I'm going to be putting some stuff out soon, and that's probably what's going to consume my summer.
Okay.
But I don't think there's going to be anything coming out in summer. I think that's going to start as of like August, September time.
You got to sow them seeds, man.
Yeah, it's on the way. It's on the way. You'll see it when it happens. But it's going to be good. It's going to be really good. But summer Royal Ragz, just the same, but less jackets.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to shift all the puffer jackets I can now because the sun's beaming.
Yeah, man. It's going to get cold again in a few weeks.
Yeah, it's Manchester. The weather up is rubbish.
So before you said Royal Ragz is going to live forever, and I hope it does for you, man. I hope it does for everyone. Like, how would you like to see it develop? Is a bricks and mortar shop the dream, or do you like to stay agile and kind of fast moving as you are at the moment?
I would like a brick and mortar shop. Like when I lived in Bristol, me and my friend Billy, shout out Billy, does Don Major's, best vintage shop in Bristol. We shared that shop and it was great. I loved it. And I would like to have one of my own. And the way I see it with it, so The online stuff is a lot of work, but it's really like this because it's established now. It's really good for sales. So it's like, why would I stop?
Yeah.
But I would like to eventually kick what I'm working on, this second project, off for that to do well, and then to kind of open a brick and mortar shop and get someone to like work in there, and I still curate everything that's in there. But the website kind of just is there on hold-ish, or there are people doing that for me, and then I just work on like this other project more. Put my time into something else. I feel like I need to change.
Yeah.
It's been the same thing for like 8 years now, and it's getting like I'm getting itchy feet, and I'm like, I need to do something that isn't just going on Facebook Marketplace.
So difficult when you've put all your energy into a business to relinquish a bit of control and like let other people do things.
See, that's the thing. That's why I've not hired anyone
That's how people build
so far.
shit, innit, man? That's how people, if you can relinquish that control and get someone else to do it 80% as good as what you could do it, then that's worth doing, so you can spend 100% of your time on something.
That's purely why I've not hired anyone so far. It's because I haven't felt... Royal Ragz is a second reflection of myself, and if it looks shit, I look shit. And I love everything that I do, and it's everything that in my head is teachable, but like you gotta listen, do you know what I mean? Because if you mess it up, I just don't want anyone to mess my stuff up, really. Man. And there have been a few people that I've trusted to do so, but I haven't had like the money to pay them, really, because I'm doing all X, Y, and Z. But I will do that eventually. That's coming. But an employee will come very soon to do something at least, because I'm like, as I said earlier, I could fall asleep right now. So, and I've got to go to work after this.
On that note, I'm going to ask you the last question for today then.
Okay. I don't want you to end it because I just said I'm knackered.
That was just a segue. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you care about clothes?
I guess they're my life somewhat. I love them, and they've made everything that I've ever done that I've enjoyed possible, I guess. I don't care about clothes in a way that I don't care about what people think of me.
Okay.
I'll wear what I like always, but I love clothes. Scale of 1 to 10, 10 probably.
I thought we were going to get that.
Maybe a straight up 10, if not an 11.
Yeah.
I love them, man. They're great, and it makes me happy. Clothes make me happy, and like you get a little serotonin boost at the start, but then and you've got like the bits that you really wanted for ages that you never thought you'd have.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is sick.
Nice.
And it's like I've not got them because I want to impress other people. I've got them because I've wanted them for a long time, and now I finally get to wear it. And you just feel good. If you step out of the house feeling good, you have a good day.
For real. Let's leave it on that note. Thanks a million for doing it, man. Appreciate it.
You're so welcome. Thank you for having me on.
Nice one. Blow. Boom, there you are. What a lovely lad. Big up Charlie for coming on, and big up you lot for listening. It is properly appreciated. If you loved it today, click share on your app and WhatsApp it to your mate who loves clothes. It doesn't cost a thing. But if you do want to support us financially, head to patreon.com/myowngarms and give us a couple of quid, please. Thanks a lot. Big shout out to everyone that made this episode happen. Aston for the lovely microphones, Native for the sweet apartments, and big up you lot for listening. See you on the next one.
Trust me, it feels amazing. Strangers, oh, I care so much about strangers.